stay on the line while your call is completed. Long-distance charges may apply.
I've been using my phone for most of my life, but how I use my phone has changed in the past 10 years. I don't make long-distance phone calls as much as I used to. I'm usually Skyping people or FaceTiming them. I just find that I'm always cautious about how long I'm talking on a long-distance phone call because of the cost per minute. That I'd rather just use Skype or FaceTime someone and talk to them as long as I want on my home internet connection for free. So I was curious as to what long-distance phone calls mean to other people. Do people still make the usual phone calls they make, or have they changed over to using Skype to make their business phone calls or talk to their family? Over a year ago, the 3 big phone companies in Canada started offering unlimited nationwide phone plans, allowing you to talk to anyone as long as you want, anywhere in Canada. And I'm really trying to figure out, is that going to boost long-distance phone calls? Is that this last-minute kind of influx of that technology, or are they now so non-relevant that they don't even care about charging you per minute to try and make money off of you? So today you're going to see 2 people. You're going to see me communicate with my mom through FaceTime, where she's in Newbury, Ontario, and I'm in Ottawa, Ontario, about an 8-hour difference, and how she communicates with her family back in Holland and a lot of friends in the neighboring counties around her. You're also going to hear from my friend Steph, who also lives in Ottawa, but has family and friends in Brampton and a friend in India, and how the different locations changes the way you communicate, and how different age groups change the methods of communication. So I'm really trying to figure out, are long-distance phone calls relevant anymore? Do people use them? Are Skype and FaceTime taking more priority? I thought I wanted to talk about long-distance phone calls, and I thought, who would be better to talk to than you, because out of anyone I know, you make long-distance phone calls.
Holland?
Is that who you call?
I called Almost Custerman's sister last week.
Last week? When was the last time you made a long-distance phone call?
Like here?
Yeah, like
I called Kelly. Alliston is long distance. And if you're going to the home farm, it's not long distance.
So when was that?
If you're at the home, that was on Saturday. She picked up the piano.
Oh, okay.
The old piano. If you're at the home farm where Mike and Beatrice lives, West Lauren is long distance. And here it's not long distance, and we're further away.
That's weird. How many digits do you have to type in?
21, I said.
20. You have to type in 21 numbers.
Yeah.
And
In order to get that special.
when you called me today on FaceTime, what did you have to do?
I just push one number.
You just push one thing, eh? So do you feel like you would, your time would be spent you'd spend more time talking to the person than trying to connect with the person?
Yes, but I don't know. If you're on FaceTime, you always have to make sure you're presentable because you see one another, right?
Right.
Do you have a long distance program on your cell phone?
Well, yeah, I have that my 10 thing. So I have 10 numbers that I can call anywhere in Canada for as long as I want. So you're on that, Michelle's on that, my roommates are on that.
How come you never call them?
Well, I had to call you just then.
Yeah, but you FaceTime most of the time.
I FaceTime you most of the time.
Yes.
Which do you prefer better?
Okay, you can do that too on FaceTime. You can see a missed call when I call you and you don't answer. If you could FaceTime your relatives in Holland, would you do that?
Yeah, I don't know how to do that though.
Why? What's the missing piece?
I don't know. I just wasn't taught how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know? Oh, we kind of lost her there. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to try and call her again. I might have to actually use my phone to dial her up.
Why?
Because it's not working. FaceTime's not connecting for some reason. When you phone Holland and also anywhere, when you make long distance phone calls, does it ever disconnect by accident?
No.
No. Can you see yourself using FaceTime and Skype more often?
It'll be pretty hard to do if the business dad's on the phone all the time.
Right.
Getting part. I think I will probably, if I was, knew I had more people on my list, I would call them on FaceTime. I just haven't, I haven't adapted to that policy or that routine.
You know who in Holland has Skype?
No. I think, my Shaken's brother has Skype.
Okay.
Oma Shaken's, yeah. They might probably all have Skype. But, anyways. Is Skype and FaceTime different?
Yeah, they're the same thing ideally, but they are two different companies that do the same thing.
I know my friends, they tend to text rather than phone. Like
Right.
Ellie, she's always texting, and Wilhelmina, she doesn't call her kids, she always texts them.
I had a feeling that my mom makes a lot of long distance phone calls, but I didn't know that she is using it almost every day. Hopefully my friend Steph will, because she's younger and been around Skype for more than she can help me with proving that long distance phone calls are irrelevant.
Hi. Hey.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
So Steph, tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm a Carleton student and hopefully graduating at the end of the term, so it's pretty exciting. I'm a rock climber. I am a history buff. I'm a bit of a nerd, Lord of the Rings fan, Star Wars fan, all that kind of stuff.
Where did you grow up in?
Well, I grew up in Brampton, GTA area.
And your family still lives in Brampton?
Yes, they do.
Now, how do you communicate with your family?
Mostly by phone, actually.
Okay.
It's basically only through phone. Text messaging and phone calls. I think I've only ever Skyped them twice. I guess it's just out of habit. For the longest time too, I didn't have a webcam. Personally, it's just a lot faster calling someone than having. I find that at least with me, I have to set up Skype phone calls.
So it's easier to call on the phone. And how is that in regards to your phone bill?
Well, luckily we used to have a family plan. Now it's just my mother and my sister and I who are connected, so it's actually not long distance charging when I call them. Unfortunately, it is when I call my brother and my dad, so it kind of it limits, I guess, the amount of time you can talk to that person.
When your brother and your dad went off the family plan, do you feel like you've talked to them less on the phone?
I guess definitely less. Yeah.
Now, your roommate recently, in the past year, moved to India. How do you communicate with her?
That's through Skype. In instances like that, Skype is way easier and it's free. And it's fun.
Have you ever thought of calling her?
No.
And what's preventing you from doing that?
In that case, the long distance charges on my cell phone. I have a feeling calling India would be very expensive.
Do you know how to reach her by phone? What if the
No.
internet went down?
I don't know how to reach her by phone. I guess if the internet went down, we have her address. I can write her a letter.
Have you ever made an international long distance phone call before?
On my personal phone, no. But a lot of my family is actually, they live in Italy. So my family will make. We used to make long distance phone calls all the time. But just recently, we've been using Skype. So there's been I've noticed a transition that kind of happened. It seemed like as soon as my father discovered the wonders of Skype, he just forgoes the phone calls and just Skypes, and it's wonderful. But we used to, every Sunday, we used to call Italy and say hi.
Over the past year, a lot of Canadian phone companies have been coming out with unlimited nationwide calling to any phone number. Do you think if you had that phone plan that you would make phone calls more often, long-distance phone calls?
Probably. Yeah, I think so.
Do you think that's going to sway other people in the fact that everyone will now get these plans? Do you think that long-distance phone calls will start to rise?
I can see that happening.
The quality of a long-distance phone call compared to a Skype call, a voice call, do you find there's a difference in the quality at all?
There can be, yeah, definitely. It's kind of annoying at times because it seems to take a while for sometimes the technology to work. A couple times that I've been around, the screen wasn't working or something like that. It seems to be glitches with Skype that seems to be needing some ironing out. Talking through the phone is definitely clearer and even slightly more personal, I guess, in a way.
Talking through using a phone?
Yeah, because it's a one-on-one conversation, right? Rather than Skype where you can have, you could be talking to 3 people at once and there's 3 people on your end, and it's different. It's 2 different experiences. It's weird.
When was the last time you made a long-distance phone call?
Probably a couple days ago.
A couple days ago?
Yeah, just to Brampton. With calling my mom.
And do you see yourself in the future relying less on long-distance phone calls?
Yes. I mean, my future, I'm planning on going overseas, and I can see a lot more, more frequent Skype conversations than calling through telephone. Definitely.
Out of the age group that you're in, do you see yourself making long-distance phone calls to your friends and associates and stuff, or do you always find that they always Skype each other?
That's interesting, because the friends that I've grown up with, I will call them. The friends that I've made most recently, around the same time that, for example, Skype has kind of grown in popularity, will Skype. It's a really weird, it's very weird compartmentalization going on in my life for that, It's strange, because I won't call my best friend I won't Skype my best friend from Brampton. I'll call her. But Megan, my roommate, who I met in university, I will Skype her.
So taking from this, I feel like there's still this reliance on long-distance phone calls. People haven't really moved on to using FaceTime and Skype to the fullest that they can. I think it's an education issue in regards to not knowing all of the services that are there. And my mom's still using long-distance phone calls for almost all her daily tasks, while I try and Skype everybody. It's just not being taught how to use this versus that. I think maybe when you start seeing people who only grew up using Skype, that generation is definitely going to probably still hinder away from long-distance phone calls. I found it very interesting that my friend still calls her parents with her phone instead of Skyping them all the time. I really thought she was going to be the opposite and really promote Skype for all its amazing qualities, but she still prefers to make long-distance phone calls. I think we've gotten to a point where we are seeing the tides turn. I think there's always still going to be a phone call. There's still always going to be a phone number that you're going to dial up. I don't know why. I don't see it going away anytime soon. There's just something interesting about hearing that ring and having someone pick up the phone versus, accepting an incoming Skype call. I just, even though they try and mimic a lot of the sounds and motions, it's different, it's digital, and I don't know. I guess it's up to you guys to decide.